Join me today as I share one meal, one look, and one pursuit. A rhythm of graceful living, quietly, simply, and beautifully, always in good taste. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to bring you this video today. I've been reading your DMs wondering if I was ever coming back to YouTube, and here we are. So today, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be sharing an outfit that I purchased for our Christmas card photos. It's a dress from the boutique The Mint Julep, and I think their website is called Shop the Mint. And they also have a little girls section too, which is really cute. When I first purchased the dress, I loved the silhouette, but I wasn't sure about the color. And I texted my best friend and said, I don't really like purple, and yet somehow I've managed to buy a purple dress for me and Margot for our family card. And when she saw the picture, she was like, honestly, the dress is so on brand. And she's right. Now I'm gonna insert footage of my live reaction to trying on this dress for the first time directly out of the package. First impressions directly out of the bag, currently tying the sash back on. I love it. I probably could have taken a little bit of a smaller size. So I always order mediums and never really buy smalls, even when I feel small. And currently I'm waiting for Aunt Flo to come. So I'm feeling heavier than I typically would, and even still, the medium is big. So keep that in mind if you do end up shopping for this particular dress. This is my first purchase from the website, and I am very pleased. And because it's so modest, this could be a great Easter dress, especially if you're in the South and like to dress up for church on Sundays. Slightly giving prairie, and I love that. I also ordered Margot a dress. She hasn't seen it yet because obviously I'm just opening these now. They do have some outfits that they make mommy and me versions of. I just found this dress and then looked for a dress on there in the closest color. It's not spot on, but I do think it's close enough. You won't really be able to tell if you look at these together that they're not exactly the same color purple, but it's beautiful. And I think next to each other, this will be really nice. And then Sebastian and Brandon, I think you're gonna wear like sagey green tops, khaki. I think Brandon might even wear navy pants, I'm not sure. This is as far as I've gotten, and I'm loving it. So just imagine this in photos. 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. I am surprised. I thought the sleeves were full length and it seems to be more 3/4 length, but this ballooning of the sleeve is gorgeous. And I love this neckline. It is stunning. Probably do a little steam, but all of these buttons are real and you need to open them in order to get the dress on. It's very beautiful and it feels well made. It's 100% cotton. This is not an ad. I paid for this with my own money. I'm just giving you my real review. It is fully lined all the way up to the top. I don't know if you can see that. I'll bring it up closer. It's fully lined. When we do our family photos, I will likely have my hair curled a little bit better. Obviously, my makeup would be like different. I don't even have lip liner on right now. But overall, I'm loving this look. I just love that dress so much. I will definitely order from them again. They do have a lot of 100% cotton dresses on their website, which made me very happy. I look forward to seeing all of our family photos in that dress. I did finally show Margot her dress when she got home from school, and she loved it as well. It also ran slightly big, so keep that in mind when sizing. I got her a 5'6". They didn't have anything smaller than that, but she probably could have taken a size down as well. I don't know if all their dresses run a little bit larger or not, but these ones did. But either way, we're still wearing them and they're so cute. So now let's transition into my dining room, and I want to show you a few of the changes that I've made since the last time you guys have seen it. So here we are in my dining room. It's been a while, as you guys know, but we can take a quick spin around. So these pictures were not here. This is relatively new. I am on the hunt for authentic oil paintings. This is not authentic, but it looks really good. And I did like how the frame had this texture here. It sort of looks like it's matted, but it's not. Obviously, you don't matte oil paintings, but I thought it looked good. It's not real anyway, so what does it matter? The main thing about the art is this one over here is horizontal and this one is vertical, and I'm not sure that I like that, but at the moment, while I figure it out, I'm just gonna leave them because they add so much to the room. This one is really pretty too. I actually just found these at HomeGoods. I did think that if I framed oil paintings in here, that the frame would be a little bit more elaborate than this. Much more like this frame, not that one. this one. I could always take them out and frame them with some like this. This one I got in an estate sale. These had portraits in them and my mom gave them to me. And those were gonna go here, but I found framed art. But yeah, eventually I'll find some new art, but that's what's there now. The hutch is pretty much the same. I added this little tassel here. There's a little fleur-de-lis on it, and if you know anything about us, we are a Falcons household and the Saints are our rivals, so I don't think we're gonna keep this much longer, but I thought it was really pretty and it tied in the gold touches around the room. And you guys have seen, I think, all of this in the past. I found this cute little plate and server in my mom's house, so I added it here because I think it'll be pretty to use in the spring. And then I've also added my Port Marion in here. These are just dinner plates and they're all different, which is cute. Port Marion Botanical, which is what this is. I never thought I'd own it. I always thought I would get the birds, but I love it. It's cute. And then pretty soon we'll be getting the holiday stuff out, which is really exciting. I was about to end the update, but then I realized over here, I hadn't shown you the mirror. So ignore these lamps. I just sat them there because I host mahjong nights and I bought those for our tables and I needed somewhere to set them really quickly, so I just threw them in here. But I found this beautiful mirror at an antique store and it's going to go over the buffet. It's dirty. I'll clean it once we hang it. Ooh, my silver needs to be polished too. That can be for another video, I suppose, taking care of your silver properly. But anyway, I think the mirror is just gorgeous and it's going to look so great along this wall here. And then I think I'm gonna add some plates up the sides. All that's left is to replace the chandelier. I've been looking all year long and I can't find what I have in my mind. So we're gonna keep the builder grade until I find her, but my eye is always open. And then I'm gonna add some curtains here before Thanksgiving just so that the room feels a little bit more warm. Some of you may remember when I purchased this dining room set at the beginning of the year and I got it for a steal on Facebook Marketplace. I'll link that video below if you haven't seen it yet. But I knew from the beginning that I was going to reupholster the chairs. They just needed a little pick-me-up. They were a little dirty as expected. They weren't new. Now is as good a time as any because my best friend Brooke and her family are coming for Thanksgiving, as well as my sister, and I need that room complete before everyone gets here. I can't remember if it was here on YouTube when I mentioned that I was gonna do this or in my DMs on Instagram when I first mentioned that I'd already started the chairs. But someone asked me to give a tutorial and I do not feel like I am qualified enough to tell you guys how to do this by any means, but I will at least show you what I did and what I purchased. You don't need a lot of things. I got everything from Hobby Lobby except my staple gun I got from the Home Depot. But all you need is a heavy duty upholstery staple gun. Mine is manual. You'll need an upholstery staple remover as well as some scissors. You'll need fabric, and you will need the polyfoam if you are replacing the foam. I'm using 2-inch polyfoam. I did attempt to use 3 and it was too thick and looked ridiculous. So I went back to the 2 and that's what you'll see me using today. What you did not see on camera, because it was incredibly boring and unnecessary, is me removing hundreds of staples and the old fabric from the frame of the chair as well as the old foam. And the first thing I did after that was trace and cut my new foam to fit the board. This part is not easy. I'm sure there are other better ways to do it. I saw some people on TikTok using a serrated knife. It didn't work for me as well. It left ripples in the foam. I feel like the scissors worked best, but I'm sure there are other ways that this can be done even better. Like I said, this is not a tutorial, this is an exhibition situation, and I am just aiming to get these done and looking presentable, but nothing needs to be perfect. After I cut the fabric and the foam to the size that I needed, I started to pull it and staple a couple guide staples around each side of the chair. And these aren't the only staples that I will add, as you'll see, but these are just so that I can make sure everything is in position and that the fabric is pulled taut enough before I start adding a ton of staples. The hardest part of the chairs are the corners. I just wanted to make sure that I pulled them so that there wasn't a ton of rippling and wrinkling around the edges. My corners are rounded, which made it a little bit more difficult, but it can be done. And again, perfection was not the goal here. Once I finished the corners, I flipped it back over on the frame, put the screws in and tightened them up. I wasn't able to do it by hand, so I used my drill. And And that is my chair all done. I have 3 of the 6 complete now, and I'm hoping to get the rest done in the next week or 2. Also, I realized there is one more layer of fabric. I think it's like a dust protector. It's black, and I think I'm going to go back and put a layer of that underneath just so it looks a little bit cleaner and finished underneath the bottom. It's not necessary, but I think I'm going to do it at some point. All right, and so let's move on to the kitchen. So this recipe is one that my family eats probably every other week. It is so delicious. We call it the chicken thigh ravioli when referring to it, but we probably could come up with another name, but that's not important because it tastes so good. I never would have thought that my children would love a ricotta and spinach stuffed ravioli. Well, that's hard to say, but they do, and they go back for seconds, and frankly, so do I. But for this recipe, you'll need a pack of chicken thighs. You're going to season that with salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. After I season one side of the chicken, I do like to flip over and season the other side, but that is just me. You can season to your own tastes here. I'll put the exact recipe and all the measurements and everything you need to know down in the description box, but the next thing I do is heat some olive oil in my pan, and then I place the chicken down in a single layer and cook on both sides for 7 minutes. Once the chicken has cooked fully on both sides, I just let it rest on the countertop. Then you're going to take some diced onion and saute that in the pan. And once those caramelize, you'll add in some baby Bella mushrooms. Once the mushrooms have softened, you're gonna add in a cup of chicken stock and half a cup of heavy whipping cream and let that simmer. And then add in the Parmesan cheese and let that thicken up. One day I'll learn to make my own pasta, but until then we use this Rana spinach and ricotta ravioli, and when I tell you it is delicious, I am not kidding y'all, this ravioli is so good. Place them in the pan and you'll notice when they're done when they start to puff up. I then went ahead and sprinkled some Italian seasoning over the top. And that's it. You could also add a side salad if you'd like. I like to keep my chicken off to the side, but you can always put it on top of the pasta, and we also added a little bit of garlic bread to the side of ours. And like I said, this is a family favorite. Let me know if you guys try it as well. It is so delicious. Thank you so much for joining me for my inaugural video of the In Good Taste series. I hope to do this style of video at least once a month, and then my next video will be completely vlog style, taking you behind the scenes of the craziness that I put myself through as a room mom and a PTO board member. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me some love in the comments, and also please give it a thumbs up, share my channel with your friends, and I will see you in the next one.